What is up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching, for liking the videos, for subscribing if you haven't already, and if you like the content, please click that subscribe button down there. It really helps me out a lot. Now, for today's video, we are gonna be taking a look at the Zontes G1 Scrambler 125. Now, this is a beginner bike from Zontes. This is meant for the rider who just got his license. It's pretty cheap at around 3,000 euros, but it comes, as Zontes has, as we come to know Zontes, it comes pretty well equipped. So we're just gonna take a quick look around it, and then we're gonna take it out on the road because this one is registered. So starting up front, we have LED headlight with the round part being a daytime running light. We have upside down forks, disc brakes up front and in the back with 2-channel ABS. We have factory lever guards, hand guards, again a factory crash bar with a crash pad, being thought out for beginners. They're expecting you to maybe drop it once or twice until you get the sure footing on it. Things happen, things go wrong, so it's nice to have pretty beefy crash bars from the factory. Liquid cooled 125cc engine with 15 brake horsepower. You can also get the 155 engine with around 18 horsepower, and the 155 you can get it with spoked wheels to go with the Scrambler look. The switch gear, regular switch gear, we have passing light, high and low beam, hazard lights, indicators, horn, and on the right side we have an eco button that dumbs down the engine a little bit. Kill switch, this is to keep it on daytime running lights or low beam, and a power switch. In terms of ignition, we have a regular key. If we turn it to the left, we open the seat. Let's see what's underneath. Basically no storage, it's just a battery. Easy to close. Turn it to the right, ignition is on. What do we have in terms of dash? An LCD dash with a rev counter, a speedometer, water temperature gauge, a clock, odometer, gear indicator. This S is for sport mode. If I press the eco button, we go to eco, and the fuel light. The water temperature gauge is pretty interesting because it doesn't show bars or anything, it shows actual temperature. Also, in terms of lights, we have a left indicator light, check engine, ABS, neutral light, high beam, and right indicator. In terms of fuel tank, this is actually weird for a 125cc motorcycle. It's a 20-liter fuel tank. It's 2 liters more than I have on Alp, which is a big adventure bike. But moving on, the seat is very wide and comfortable. The handlebars are pretty raised. In the back we have again LED turn signals and rear light. Chain drive. Another disc brake. Monoshock on the rear. Side mounted exhaust. Normal swing arm. And the bike comes equipped with knobby tires for that light off-road in case you want to do so. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with any kind of engine guard, but for this price I'm not too worried about it, because this isn't a hard enduro bike. This is a little scrambler look-like. Also, in terms of gearbox, we have a 6-speed gearbox, which should be nice for on the road. Also, I've brought my Transalp just to show you a bit of a size comparison between a full adventure bike and the beginner 125cc bike. It's actually not that much smaller. And in terms of weight, it's about 160 kilograms wet and ready to ride. I don't know if that 160 is with a full tank of gas, because with 20 liters, that's quite a lot of fuel. But let's get it out on the road and see how it rides. Alrighty, let's fire her up. Neutral. Clutch in. It's pretty hot outside, so the engine is warm as it is. Let's saddle up. The seat is pretty approachable. First impressions. I'm very close to flat footing it with a 32-inch inseam. I'm pretty close to flat footing it. Not perfectly flat foot, but decent enough. Alright, let's get it out on the road. First impressions, clutch is very light. Let's close this up. Clutch is very light, very easy to use. The pegs are a little bit up, I don't know. I'm not feeling cramped, but I think somebody taller might feel a little bit cramped. Brakes are nice, gear indicator. Let's put it in eco mode, see how it rides in eco first of all. No turn signal sound, but without a windscreen or anything, I don't think you could hear it above 0 kilometers an hour. Pretty peppy engine. For a 125, it's pretty peppy. You do have to rev it out. There's not much torque, but that's to be expected with a small 125. Now I'm gonna try to take it to my bumpy road section and see how it does. The bike feels light, the gearbox is very light, very nice for a beginner, and it's quite short geared, so it does make you use all the gears. But 70 kilometers an hour and it's already asking for 6th gear. 6th gear, 70 kilometers, 5,000 RPM. So yeah, I think she'll cruise pretty nicely at about 110, 120. We still have RPM to go, but at something like 70, 80, she feels quite comfortable. The bike is light on its feet, easy to check about. The rear brake is very touchy, really nice, really bites into the speed. Second gear, nice on second gear. Yeah, the torque is really missing, but then again I'm coming from a 600cc V-twin. A 125 is never gonna have the torque. But let's see the bumpy road. Oh, the suspension. Yeah, this is really not an off-road bike. I mean, if oh boy. And the pegs is not really nice. Yeah, so this is more of a off-road look-alike. The suspension is definitely, let's just say, asphalt oriented, because it's pretty rough on the bumpy stuff. It's not crashy, but it's a hard suspension. It's not soft, it doesn't soak up the bumps. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's easy to control. It doesn't do anything weird, but it's just really hard, and you really feel every single bump. A softer suspension would have been nice on the off-road, and unfortunately this isn't adjustable. But let's see. Let's see how the ABS kicks in. Very nice and controlled. Kept the bike in check. Now the bar and mirrors are something you don't see every day coming from the factory. These are usually optionals people mount on their bikes. But I have to say they're pretty nice. I haven't used bar and mirrors extensively, but these are pretty nice. You can see quite a lot behind you. I don't see any of my elbow. I just see what's behind me. And that's really nice. And they don't shake on this bumpy road with this tough suspension. They don't shake at all. Really impressed with that. The riding position, it's basically upright. The handlebar is a bit low for a completely upright position, but that's not bad. It's a very pleasant position for a beginner rider. Nice and easy to control the bike. You have a big tank here and you can grab onto it with your knees. The weight is very, very low on the bike. I would have liked it to be maybe a little bit lighter, 160 kilograms. I don't know if that's with a full tank, because the bike does feel a little bit heavy compared to other 125 cc's, but it's not unmanageable. I like the sound the engine makes. It's not particularly powerful until you get it up into the rev range, above 6,000 RPM. But it does make a really throaty sound. It sounds way more powerful than it actually is. It does sound quite nice, to be honest. It sounds really nice. There, so nothing. Now it wakes up. Yeah, so below 6,000 you basically have almost nothing. Let me just check the camera, see if it's recording. We're still recording. Back to first. Let's get out of here. Quite a nice bike. Quite a nice bike. Everything feels solidly built. The engine is real revvy. It likes to rev. It likes to be up top in the rev range. Nice and stable, feels light on its feet. The controls are very easy to use. Adjustable levers, both brake and clutch. Brakes are very easy to modulate, and strong brakes. Let's try to get it up to some higher speeds and see how it handles. For city riding and for a beginner rider, this is a very nice bike. I'm not feeling too much heat from the engine. That's to be expected from a 125. They don't put out really much heat. What I am missing is the low end torque. That's the difference. Alright, let's see in sport mode. Let's see the torque in sport mode. So third gear, 4,000. No, but still not there. Honestly, in sport mode feels just about the same. I can't feel any difference from eco to sport mode. So here we are cruising 85 kilometers an hour, 6 gears, 7,000 RPM. Bike feels stable. Of course, no wind protection up front because we don't have a windscreen. Now this bridge is regularly very, very windy, and we have side winds. Nope, feels stable. I'm not getting kicked around. Very nice on the downshift, easy to downshift, easy to get the gear. Brakes are nice and easy to modulate. But again, below 5,000 there's basically no torque. That's the price we pay for a 125, there's no torque in it. We have somebody learning to ride. That's riding school. Come on, Zontes. Gets up and goes really nicely. For a beginner rider, this would be a perfect bike. Mirrors are nice and easy to see. The bike feels light. The power is more than manageable for somebody who's just starting out. If you're scared of the power, just keep it below 6,000 RPM. And it won't scare you anymore. What I'm not liking is the knobbly tires. At about 80-90 kilometers, I feel them wobbling a bit on the profile. But that can be easily fixed with some street tires. Honestly, I would put street tires, regular street tires on this bike and just ditch the whole off-road stuff, because this isn't an off-road bike. If you want an off-road bike, you get something like a Honda CRF. Or maybe if you want from Sim, you get you get a Sim NHT, a beginner bike for off-road riding. You get that 125 NHT. That's perfect for off-road riding. This is more of a city bike, of a first beginner bike. This isn't really an off-road bike. Let's be honest here. Let's not kid ourselves. So if you treat it as a city bike, it's really nice. Let's get this car. Woo! This is the kind of fun you can have with it. Okay, why don't you stop in the middle of the road? Okay. I'm not gonna say anything. So I'll say, for a beginner rider, this is a perfect first bike. Light on its feet, easy to use. Engine is just enough power for a beginner. If you want a little bit more, I would suggest going for the 155. That's a little bit more meaty. It has a little bit more low-end torque. But if you want to not get scared, it's like this: 4,000 RPM full throttle. It gently gets on the power if you're not up in the rev range, and that's real nice for a beginner-oriented bike. You don't think of it as like your only bike. This is a bike you start off with. Let's see, finding neutral. Very easy to find neutral.
Right. Let's see how the front end looks. This is with the headlights on daytime running lights, I think. Yes. Let's see if we go to low beam. This is the low beam. Oh, so basically, sorry, I had the high beam on. So this is daytime running lights, low beam, basically nothing changes. And this is high beam. Hazard lights, of course LEDs, and in the back it looks kind of like this. We have this LED strip lit up. This is the brake light, it lights up here, and the indicators. '89C the engine. The fan is currently on. It's maintaining 89 Celsius, which is perfect. Let's turn it off. So this has been the Zontes G1. The G1, the G Scrambler, the G125, however you want to call it. As a beginner bike, if you're looking for this to be your first bike to get to grips on riding a bike, on the gearbox, on using a clutch, using a gearbox, using the brake with your hand and your feet, it's a very nice bike. And considering the riding position is pretty comfortable, you sit pretty upright, it can do long distances very easily. And with the 20-liter fuel tank, you might actually forget to put some petrol in it. I've seen people trying and succeeding in getting 1,000 kilometers out of one fuel tank. Because 20-liter fuel tank, if you ride it sensibly on long distances, you can get somewhere around 2 liters per 100 kilometers. So 20 liters, that equates to about 1,000 kilometer range. That's pretty huge for a motorcycle, especially a 125 motorcycle. To have almost 1,000 kilometers of range, that's huge. But as somebody who knows how to ride, honestly, I think the engine is a bit too weak for somebody who's used to something bigger. I think something like the Zontes, the 300cc they have in their lineup, is better for somebody who's already a decent enough rider. But for a young kid or a beginner rider, this is a perfect bike. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. The wheels are 17-inch back and front. You have full ABS. You don't have traction control, but honestly you don't need it. If you don't rev the engine high, you don't have a lot of torque to break the wheel loose. What I would do is change these front tires, because they are knobby tires. They look real nice, but they shake a little bit. They're not high performance, they're not expensive knobby tires. They shake a little bit at speed. They do grip. I had no problems with grip. They do grip, but they give you a weird sensation at speed. I would just put regular, normal tires, some Michelin, some Dunlop, something like that on it, and just call it a day and not think about off-road riding. Yeah, it may ruin the Scrambler look a little bit, but it would work a lot better with normal tires and not these knobby tires. But if you want the Scrambler look, they look awesome. So thank you so very much for watching. That has been it for this video, for a quick look at the Zontes G1. Keep liking the videos, keep subscribing, and if you haven't already, click that red button down there, subscribe to the channel, because we have many more things on this channel coming. But for now, take care out there and ride safe. Goodbye.